Today was just such a blur. And do you have blurry days? I feel like everybody has to. But today just felt like that, start to finish. I don't know what happened. Just woke up. Here I am. Stuff happened. I know I was other places. But it makes me respect people who journal so much, because what a neat thing to just sort of have such a great history of your life, and especially just the little ins and outs that you forget throughout the day. I think that's one of the reasons I've appreciated this podcast so much. Sometimes I go back and read Spotify does these awesome AI notes, and it just sometimes summarizes it, little headings like this section talked about this, blah, 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 transcript. But it's cool, because sometimes I think you forget just a little in and outs of your day, and sometimes those little in and outs of the day are just so sweet. And when you pause and look at them a little closer, they're a lot more meaningful than you think they are. But anyway, today was an absolute blur. A couple things on my mind. One was, so I was talking about last podcast when people share back these, I don't know, their own personal summations, quotes they've heard, insights they've had to some of the other podcasts I've discussed. Yesterday's, it was that cool quote about hubris and the starting line. But then there were a handful of podcasts ago, this is a long time ago, looking at it now, it looks like 33, podcast 33, we're on 70 something, which is cool to think about. And on that one, I think I was talking about change, and I'm always so puzzled. Why does it take us, take me, take other people in work and life, love, relationships, blah, blah, blah. Why is it so hard for us to commit to change? But this person had shared with me, she wrote, this is someone I enjoy talking to, and I think her perspective's really interesting, and clearly she spent some time refining her own perspective and doing some work. But we're talking about change, and she wrote, regarding change, she wrote, I'm sure it's different for everybody, but I have to believe that people sometimes wait until things get really bad, because in order to change, you have to feel the physical pain of the consequences. And it's not until then that we receive the motivation to do the change. And then she sent another message and said, the pain of the consequences needs to feel worse than the potential pain of the change. Man, that was a good one. The pain of the consequences needs to feel worse than the potential pain of the change. And, the more I thought about this one, and, you spend some time on the gram, and everybody's always talking about doing hard shit. Hard people do hard things. And the custom, what was that guy we talked about, that book? Every time I think of Comfort Crisis, I just have this picture of the Comfort Plus or whatever it is, toilet paper with the bears on it. You want to be hard? Use single-ply toilet paper. You will be the toughest person on planet Earth. Single-ply toilet paper. Most frustrated person on planet Earth. You pull that thing like literally 1 ounce of strength and the square rips off. You're just doing that for 36 minutes to get enough squares to finish up your business. Anyway, I'm taking this really beautiful, insightful quote about change and just ruining it with my 12-year-old bathroom humor. But the pain of the consequences needs to feel worse than the potential pain of the change. And this is, I was thinking about just like that Instagram motivation, the do hard things, hard people do hard things, the comfort crisis business. And I think one of the essences to all of that advice is that you habituate yourself to making change, to being uncomfortable. You habituate yourself to the discomfort that comes with change. You habituate yourself to looking at the devil you don't know and maybe realizing that person's not that bad and could be a whole lot better than the devil you do. It was just such a neat quote, and it was great to receive it from this person. So yeah, doing things that you generally don't want to do, reluctant to do, there's some value in them. What's funny though And I think I've discussed this before. And, I remember in the past people talking about CrossFit, doing CrossFit training. The greatest adaptation is one that happens between the years. What I always found really neat, though, and this also goes back to the success is the easiest place to hide or best place to hide discussion we've had before. This is going somewhere, I promise. But, I can get really used to the discomfort that working out creates. And the longer I've done it, I actually started to feel like if I'm always choosing to do it, like how much suffering, how much discomfort can it really be? I don't know, question mark. But you can get really comfortable with that level of discomfort. And if you don't then take it and try to port it, use it in other areas, it can be really stale and it might not carry over. And so I do think there is this really important element of trying to find new challenges, new discomforts in other areas. Trying to say a few words in a new language to somebody who speaks that language. That's a embarrassing level of discomfort. Doing the workout. It's popular. Everyone talks about it. The cold plunge is a great one. Doing some physical event, some long distance, learning a new skill and putting that skill on display for everybody. One of the things I really want to do, we usually take a trip back to Massachusetts yearly. And this year, I want to have everyone in the family present something to the rest of the family. Short, maybe like 2 to 5 minutes. But I thought, what a cool idea. Like those, all those new areas of discomfort. And for me, I think that's why there's so much value in learning new things is you can maybe start to build this skill of change and become a little bit more tolerant of the pain, the friction of change. So that way, when you need to make a big change, hopefully you don't have to feel this epic pain of consequence. But I really loved how that was phrased. Pain of consequence needs to feel worse than the potential pain of the change. So what I got from that, and the more I thought about it, was practice new things. Even if you're doing something that started off really challenging, assess it somewhere down the road. See how challenging is it still? Because like I said, it's easy to hide in that success. So I do this really hard thing all the time. Okay, well, what else do you do? Also, it's just something so interesting about humans, just how versatile we can be. But I really loved that one. So the pain of change, and I think it actually has caused me to forget about. No, it didn't. It did a little bit. I got down that rabbit hole and almost caused me to forget about what I wanted to talk about, which was thinking about the Pirates of the Caribbean, one of my favorite movies, all of them, even the bad ones, which I don't think there was a single bad one. You can fight me on that. But there's this scene where Captain Barbossa's talking to Jack Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow, and he said, "There's never a guarantee of coming back, but passing on, that's dead certain." I love that quote. There's so many quotes from that movie I like, but I love that quote, and I don't know why it popped into my head today, but it made me think about like, what am I passing on? I had the opportunity to do some video filming for CrossFit today, and I always crack a lot of jokes when I'm involved with it. But man, it's still such an honor. It's still such an honor for me. It's how I learned how to do CrossFit, was from watching, people like Adrian Bosman or Pat Barber, Chris Spieler, just so many others, watching them do it on CrossFit.com. And that's important because it became a really big part of my life, career, improved my health, quality of health of those around me that I love. But yeah, it's just such an honor. And I wonder, as I'm doing it, I hope that when I film those things, I'm passing on something valuable and good. And I was talking to the fellow who was doing the filming today, and I was kind of joking, and I was like, man, I do feel so grateful to do these, but I would like to see more new people involved with these, or to be able to share some insight of my experience with them to somebody new who comes in, because that next new person will carry on for a generation of new CrossFitters, which is a really cool thought. So I was thinking about, what is it that we pass on? How do we pass it on? Is that something, any of us actively work at? And it's not always just about like this like lofty concept of I'm passing on a legacy, but it's just even in your daily interactions with people. What is it that you're putting out there? What is it that you're passing on? Is it nonsense? Is it vitriol? Is it humor? Is it a lesson? Is it care? Is it kindness? But I don't know. That thinking about that quote from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie and the context of filming some of those videos just got me thinking about that a lot. I've tried to pay maybe a little bit more attention lately than normal to what is it that I pass on and put out there in the world, and not all of the time, but some of the time. And I wonder how much all of us think about that. What is it that we put out there? It's a good one. Anyway, I don't want to ramble too much on that. I'll leave it right there. So, appreciate y'all. More tomorrow.